And I have all council people present I'm looking at. Yes. Okay. I would like to call the regular council meeting for February 8th, 2021 to order. Mrs. Mullen, if you would take the roll call, please.
Dudley?
Here.
Donahue?
Here.
Nanadovich?
Nanadovich here.
Davis?
Here.
Blake?
Here.
Vaughn?
I'm here.
Present at the meeting. We'll continue on. We'll go with the reading and disposal of the minutes for the Monday, January 25th, 2021 council meeting. Could I have a motion off the floor to accept?
I have a motion to accept.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. On the motion to accept the Monday, January 25th council minutes for 2021, Barb, would you take a roll call, please?
Donahue?
Yes.
Nanadovich?
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis?
Barb, are these the amended minutes?
Are they?
It should be. I sent them in to Rose and to all of you.
Do we need to stipulate that?
Yeah, we should stipulate that.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Cheryl.
I'll start over. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion, or no, could I get a motion to accept the amended minutes for Monday, January 25th, 2021?
I'd like to accept the amended minutes.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay.
I'll second.
Barb, if you would.
I'm sorry.
Chuck Donahue and Mike Dudley.
Second or Vaughn? Who's seconding?
I heard Dudley.
Yes,
Okay.
I second it.
All righty, thank you. Okay, here we go. Donahue?
Yes.
Nanadovich?
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Can't hear you, Tom.
Vaughn, yes.
Dudley?
Yes.
That passes 6 yes votes. We'll go on to written communications to council. Barb, is there any written communication to council tonight?
No, Mr. Chairman, there are none.
Okay. Is there any legislation coming out of committee? Nothing. I do have a question on some of the legislation. Mr. Vaughn, Councilman Ward 7, we have some pending minutes from the finance meetings that were held earlier.
Yes.
No rush, just get them out of the way sometime.
We'll be taking those up at the next finance meeting, as same as with the safety minutes.
Okay, Tom, thank you very much. You have any idea when that'll be?
No, I need to talk to Barb on that. All right.
Thank you, Councilman. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. There be no legislation coming out. And that is who? Got the wrong mouse. Okay. Okay. Next we have the. Oh, wait, I think I do have something. Ethics forms legislation meeting. Okay, I don't have anything here. Next we have reports of the mayor and the directors. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to kind of let everybody know what I've been working on here the first week as mayor. I got to be honest with you, there's been a lot, and they've been keeping me pretty busy here at City Hall. There's been a lot of things that have happened over the course of this past week, and I want to address a few things. The very number one priority here is I'm sure everybody is aware of the Channel 19 News report that the city of Garfield Heights maliciously turned off somebody's water, and they care for their 88-year-old mother who is disabled. I wanted to just let everybody know what was reported. I did speak to both Mr. Sylvester Primus, who I just did what any decent human being and decent neighbor would do, and that would be to get right over to his house Sunday morning, take a few some gallons of water, and sit and talk with the young man or so to find out exactly what happened. And what I was told and what the report read, there was a few things that were kind of off on the report. You know, it was reported that the city of Garfield Heights shut off the water. That's not true. The Cleveland Water Department shut the water off. Specifically, that they said that Tony, one of our foremen, told them that the city shut off the water. What actually happened was there was a communication issue. Our foreman was called by Cleveland Water to tell them that the water was going to be shut off. He called the resident to tell the resident that Cleveland Water let them know that they were going to shut off the water. Why did they shut off the water? On Maple Row Avenue, where the water was leaking, he's got a leak in his yard, in his driveway. That leak is his responsibility. Cleveland Water tested the pipes, tested the lines. They found it to be the responsibility of the homeowner. The water had been leaking onto the road. It had been freezing up with the way that the weather has been, and it really caused a safety issue in that area. And I can tell you it did, because when I spoke to Mr. Primus and asked him if he had called his council representative, he indicated that he tried to call his council representative and never got a return phone call. Yet, our service director, Mark Sycon, told me that Mr. Dudley has been on this and has literally called and said that there was a safety issue with the water in the street freezing up, that our safety vehicles could not get there. Had they had to been called out, it would have been a mess. I certainly commend Mr. Dudley for taking action. But there again, what we're finding out about this whole situation, and in the conversations I've had with Sia Yorker, who is the reporter, it's just there's a series of communication issues here. And to make a long story even shorter, or try to make it short as much as I can, the outcome of this is that the line that is contaminated or is broken is the responsibility of the homeowner. However, multi-street phase 3 that was done on that street, when you look at the report states that this happened when they moved the fire hydrants from one side of the road to the other side of the road. In my investigation and the questions I've asked, we discovered that those fire hydrants were moved back in 2018. That work was completed in 2018. So for this leak to have happened when that happened, it would have had to start in 2018, which I'm sure if it had been leaking for the last 3 years, somebody would have called on it. Something would have gotten done. So that left me a little suspicious, or a little, questioned as to exactly what happened. Now, I'm going to tell you where my heart goes, and what I've certainly felt is that my number one concern was for the resident. You have an 88-year-old woman who I can tell you by being at the house, I could tell you was not in any good shape. I can tell you that there was a concern there, and to not have their water running. However, I don't know that the Cleveland City of Water, is going to turn the water back on because of the safety issue that it causes, especially now when we have even colder weather coming, colder temperatures coming. So how do we try to help the situation out? In multi-street phase 3, there was a notification that we think was sent out to all the homeowners along Maple Row, telling them that they had a lead-based pipe there. And if they call the water department more than likely took care of that for them. However, Mr. Primus did not call the water department. So he is still sitting there with a lead pipe that is now probably, broken and not repairable. So what I explained all this to Mr. Primus. I explained it to Ms. Yorkor and told him specifically that he needed to call Cleveland Division of Water and sit down with them or talk to them and ask them to consider the fact that he has that lead pipe and consider the fact that in multi-street phase 3 at the time that they were offering to handle that. So I don't know where that's going to stand with him, but he at least knows now who to talk to or at least what to ask. I think that was part of the confusion, part of the communication problem was he did not know who to ask, what to talk about, and what department to go to. So naturally, it was the city of Garfield Heights did this, and nobody's helping him out. I will tell you, I had a great conversation with him, and it was a pleasure to meet him yesterday, and just to let him know that we are going to do whatever we can to help his situation, but I know that we cannot take taxpayer money and fix it for him. That's just not a reasonable thing. However, if there is a program in place, I'm sure they will let him know. I also reached out to Murtis Taylor, a social servicing firm here in Garfield Heights. I'm waiting for them to call me back. Just in case this gets prolonged, maybe they can reach out to a firm that may be able to help put them in a facility so that they at least have running water and are able to live comfortably, And I'm also going to have Janice Tubbs supply a list of the vendors that are available that do this kind of work. And so hopefully as a community and as a community of people here, we will get together and try to help Mr. Primus out and his mom. And I talked to him, and he knows we're all thinking about him, and he knows that we're all praying for him, and we're going to do the best we can. So I just wanted to put everybody at ease that what was said in the report, and even when I spoke to the reporter, Miss Yorkor, she did indicate that she may have been off a little bit, but the facts that she was getting was directly from the homeowner. So being that it was the weekend, I don't think she could get a hold of any of us to get our side of the story. But I thanked her for putting that out there because I didn't know about this. And when I heard on Saturday night, late in the evening, I made it a point first thing Sunday morning, right after church, to go and visit him. I want to say thank you, though, to not just to the reporter, Cia Yorker, but also to Councilman Mike Dudley and Stacy Collier, because I can tell you those two individuals also worked hard on this, and maybe not knowing exactly what Mr. Primus was dealing with, but also looking out for the safety of their wards and the people in their community. And I think you need to be commended for that. So thank you, Mike, for taking a heads up with that.
Appreciate it.
Wanted everybody to know that today I instituted a chain of command policy within our administration. I feel that after being involved the last 2 to 3 months of just talking to the employees, talking to the directors, I think today, after this policy was put into place, I've seen a lot of smiles on a lot of people's faces. It just is frustrating when you're talking to employees and when you're talking to directors, and the employees don't know who to go to. They don't know what to say. They are frustrated because right away they go to the mayor, and then the directors get a little nervous because they go directly to the mayor and overstep the director. So we just wanted to put a little bit of direction in everybody's course of action here. So I instituted this chain of command. I want to thank Jeannie Sowers for putting it together. She's been working on it for about a week now. And I think it's something that will help in our ability to move forward and conduct business professionally as a city. I did have my first coffee with Matt Burke on Saturday. We are really, there was a lot of good information that was brought out in that, mostly by the community, mostly by the people that attended. My sister was on the call, and she is a real estate agent, as everybody knows, but she did bring some information about Valley Ranch Estates, what's being done over there, how many lots have been sold in Valley Ranch Estates, which I found to be very, very exciting. And I could tell you that is a focus of my business as a mayor, is to help bring businesses in. I feel my 34-year knowledge in the floor covering business, dealing directly with big business owners, I seem to know how to build that relationship with business owners, and I've already started to do it here as the mayor of Garfield Heights. Had a great conversation with ICP, and I know we're really close on something here, and hopefully any day now, I'll be able to help with getting some of the incentives that they're looking for, and also being reasonable with the city of Garfield Heights so that we don't give away the farm. Certainly, there's a lot to think about and a lot to talk about in those type of conversations that I've had. There's been a lot of negotiations, and I think it brings a whole new perspective in talking to some of the business owners and letting them know that, yes, maybe we can't give you what Westlake is giving you. Maybe we can't give you what Brecksville and Brook Park and Beechwood are giving you. But one thing that we are giving you that they can't give you is 180,000 cars that go up and down a freeway every day with easy access on and off the freeway. And that's gotta count for something. And I think most of the businesses that I talk to, they agree with me on that. So it's kind of exciting to see businesses that want to come to Garfield Heights, and they just need somebody to remind them what we have to offer instead of being negative and talking about the trash dump and things like that. We are, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be a leader that's positive, and that's the course of action that I'm going to take. Let me get into tonight's ordinances and resolutions and legislation here, beginning with ordinance number 14-2021. This is, we're applying for a additional grant funding. We have $74,500 already sitting in escrow. And this is an opportunity for us to get an additional $57,000 to put into that escrow, and to figure out, we're basically in the process of trying to figure out exactly what we can use those funds for, but we definitely want to try to secure those funds from NOPEC. Ordinance 15-2021, we are purchasing 4 new Chevy Tahoes. One of them is going to be for the the fire department. The other 3 are designated as police vehicles, one being a canine vehicle. Ordinance number, these pages like to stick together here. Ordinance number 16-2021 goes along with the police vehicles and the fire vehicles. They're the radios to outfit those vehicles with. And, this is something that I feel strongly we need for our safety forces. And then Resolution 7, 2021 is a moratorium on billboard signs. The reason why we're putting this on is because, as some of you are aware, we passed some legislation a while back to develop a master plan. I have been in serious discussions with the master plan committee, and one of the things they're talking about is signage, and this could very well be something discussed by the master plan committee. So right now we want to put a moratorium on any new billboard signs in Garfield Heights. And last but not least, but resolution number 8, 2021 is basically firefighter grant. We want to be able to get 2 thermal imaging cameras to replace the outdated models we have and outfit the fire safety folks. We actually want to have a training for all of the members of the fire department. And with that, you have my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any questions for the mayor on tonight's agenda? Mr. Dudley, you're recognized. You got to unmute, Michael. Michael, unmute. There we go.
There we go. Well, no, just a comment and not a question or any mention on Maple Road. First, I got to thank Councilman Vaughn, because Councilman Vaughn brought it to my attention that my number is showing up as 7761, last 4 digits, instead of 7661. And people haven't called in 7761, what they pick up, and not 7661. So Councilman Vaughn brought that to my attention. But wanted to mention where the mayor hit on the fact that what happened, that has been running for a while. My heart go out to the senior in case of his mom, that the water running for a few. When it was warm, it was okay, you know, to let it run. But as the temperature dropped, that house sits on a decline. And when it got to the corner of Maple Road, it created such a slush and an ice slick that when people was heading north at the intersection of 126 and Maple Road, they were braking and they literally were sliding towards the middle part. So it was a serious safety issue and an accident waiting to happen. And I'm glad that he clarified that it's not Garfield Heights who cuts the water off, but the city of Cleveland. But it was, in fact, a safety issue. But I'm glad we're going to try to help figure out something to help the senior out. So we appreciate you putting the words out there, Mayor. But I want to clarify that we got to make a correction, because the number is showing up in some spots from the city at 7761 instead of 7661. Thank you there, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Dudley. Anybody else have any comments for the mayor or questions? If there are none, we'll proceed on. Next, we have comments by the citizens on tonight's agenda. On tonight's agenda only. Barb, would you read the rules?
Comments shall be strictly limited to brief statements, not to exceed 5 minutes, with comments limited to legislation on the current evening's agenda. No citizen shall speak more than once.
Or anyone wishing to speak on tonight's agenda? It's going to be a little slower because we have to look at all the hands. So bear with us, please. How does it look, Jason?
I am not seeing any hands.
Thank you, Jason.
Hi, this is Melissa. I just wanted to make a comment. My address.
Hold on, Melissa. You have to be recognized. Okay, go ahead.
My address is 4893 East 84th Street. I just want to say about the water main leak, or, you know, the young gentleman's.
That's not on tonight's agenda, Melissa. That's not on tonight's agenda. That's
I'm sorry.
It's not on the agenda for tonight. That would be after the meeting. You can comment on that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll wait till
No,
then.
no problem. That's what we're here for.
Mr. President, Jen Lake
Yes.
has her hand up.
Miss Lake, you have go ahead. Are you unmuted?
Yes, I am.
Do you have a comment on tonight's agenda?
It's a question regarding the thermal imaging cameras.
Go
Is
ahead.
that
You
a
got the floor.
valid? What's
You got
that?
the floor.
Okay. The current ones, should they be replaced? Could they be donated or sold?
That would be a question for Chief Strope and I believe he is on the line. Chief, could you unmute, please?
Yes, the ones we do have are outdated. They could be sold. They're not bringing any money, though. Can you hear me?
Yes. So they still are in working condition, though. They just are very outdated for your purposes, correct?
Right. Technology advances so much, and we're looking for a grant from the government for them, but the technologies we have is very dated. They've come a long way with it now.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Renee Bolton has her hand raised.
Ms. Bolton, if you have the floor. Ms. Bolton?
I have two things that I would like to get some clarification on. The first one is the ordinance 15-2021. My question there is for the two older vehicles that are being replaced with this ordinance, will those vehicles be sold to, I guess, give some additional revenue back to the city or to the police department? And if so, how will they be sold?
I believe Mark Sykon, our service director, I could direct that question to him. Mark, if you would, please. We can't hear you, Mark.
If I may, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would just like to say, I know some of those vehicles will be moved over to other departments to be used in other departments, but our mechanic will look at those vehicles and assess them to make sure that they are in good working order for us to do that. And anything that's sold will probably be placed on Gov Deals in order to sell it. But I think the condition of the old vehicles will be much better than the conditions of the older vehicles that are being driven today that really need to be replaced. And I hope, I don't know, Mark, was that where you were going as well?
Can't hear you, Mark. Mark, go to the bottom of your screen and unmute your main mic. It's on the bottom corner in the bottom bar. You'll see a camera and a mic. I'm hearing something from you, Mark. Nothing. No.
He's not muted. His audio isn't connected. He may have to log out and come back in because that was happening before to Councilman Vaughn several times.
You have to connect to the video audio. Mark, you might have to go back out like Ms. Davis says. Okay, go ahead. We'll wait for you. Yeah, go on your phone if you want.
Barb has her hand up, Mike.
Barb,
Thank you.
Bureau? Yes, Barb, go ahead.
Yes, please. Could we get the addresses of Miss Lake and Miss Bolton?
Yes, I'm sorry. Ms. Bolton, if you would give us your address and street you live on, please.
Yes, it's 5749 Pony Road.
Thank you. And Miss Lake?
Miss Lake?
5303.
What
was it again, please?
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Yes.
5303 East 133rd Street.
Thank you, Ms. Lake.
You.
Can I be heard now?
Are you there now, Mark?
I believe so.
Yeah, I got you loud and clear. Did you hear the question?
I did, and Matt answered it properly. Anything that we can reuse and put back in the fleet, we will. Otherwise, we will sell it on govdeals.com.
Thank you, Mr. Sykon.
That answers it.
Was that sufficient, Ms. Bolton? Okay.
Okay. My other question was,
you have the floor. You have the floor.
My other question was regarding the mayor's report. I am interested in getting some more clarification regarding the new procedure. Will council members also have to go through the mayor's office to speak with city employees? Because, yes,
Ms. Bolton, if I may, it's just on the agenda right now, vested on the agenda. That would be miscellaneous business. After the meeting, I will give you time to ask that question.
okay.
This is just on the ordinances and resolutions. This is just ordinances and resolutions.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, I thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions on the ordinances and resolutions on tonight's agenda? Mr. Blake, anybody?
I am not seeing any hands raised.
Okay, if there be none, we will move along then. Okay, we will go on ordinances and resolutions to pass or not pass, as the case may be. Okay, starting off with ordinance 14, 2021. I would like to make a motion to consider by title. Barb, if you would.
Nanadovich,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn, yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman, shouldn't I read the title?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. I should have let.
Okay.
What am I missing? Go ahead.
May I do that now? It's
Yes,
okay.
please. Please.
Ordinance 14-2021, sponsored by Mayor Matthew A. Burke, co-sponsored by Councilman Michael Nanadovich, Jason Blake, Thomas Vaughn, and Chuck Donahue. An emergency ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, Energized Community Grants for 2021.
And what I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to retake the vote just to make it proper. Barb, would you retake the vote, please?
Alrighty. Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Before I vote, this is to consider by title, correct?
That is
Yes.
correct, Councilman.
Tom Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Before I vote, I need to let you know, Mr. Chairman, I'm having a problem with the computer. So if I blink out, I don't know what's happening. My computer keep, for some reason, shutting off. My internet is fine, but it's the computer keep locking up on me. So if I go out, I have to log back in, Mr. Chairman, and I vote yes.
thank
Give
you.
you time to do that, Mr. Dudley. Go ahead, Barb.
Donahue,
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Suspension of the 3 reading rule. Starting with with myself.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Jayla Davis, yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn, yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
The suspension of Rule 24, starting with Councilman Nanadovich.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn, yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
And on its adoption, starting with Councilman Nanadovich.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn, yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Please go ahead.
This particular ordinance, number 14, 2021, does it not need a waiver of Rule 24? Just
Did
clarify.
vote on that, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, did you?
Yes, we did.
I missed it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, your first time as mayor. No problem, Matthew, our mayor. Okay, that passes 6 votes with the 1 vote 0 because we don't have a council representative. Okay, moving right on. Next we have ordinance 15, 2021. I'd like to make a motion to consider by title. Barb, if you would.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
may I read the title first?
that's what I said. Consider by title, please. Or, I'm sorry, read the title. Yes.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay.
Ordinance 15-2021. Sponsored by Mayor Matthew A. Burke, co-sponsored by Councilman Michael Nanadovich, Chuck Donahue, Jason Blake, and Thomas Vaughn. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor or his designee to purchase 4 2021 Chevrolet Tahoes from Gamley Chevrolet of Aurora, LLC. Right.
Thank you. On the motion, I'd like to make a motion that we consider by title. On the title consideration, Barb, if you would read take a roll, starting with myself.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn, yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Thank you, Barb. On the suspension of the 3 reading rule,
Yes.
starting with myself, please.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Thank you, Barb. On the waiver of the Rule 24, starting with myself, Barbara, if you please.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn, Mr. Vaughn,
Vaughn, yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Barb. And on its adoption, starting with myself.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley.
Yes.
Oh, he's there.
Are you
Donahue,
there, Michael?
Yes.
Michael, unmute yourself.
Yes, I voted yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Yes.
Michael. We got Donahue yet?
Yes.
Yep, we're done.
Okay. That passes 6-0. Next, we have ordinance number 16, 2021. Barb, would you read the title?
Sure. Ordinance number 16, 2021, sponsored by Mayor Matthew A. Burke, co-sponsored by Councilman Michael Nanadovich, Chuck Donahue, Jason Blake, and Tom Vaughn. Sorry. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor or his designee to enter into an agreement with North Coast Two-Way Radio for the outfitting of 3 2021 Chevrolet Tahoes with police equipment.
Okay. On the consideration of title, I'd like to make a motion to consider by title, starting with myself.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Thank you, Barb. On the suspension of the 3 reading rule, Barb, would you take the roll, starting with myself?
Nanadovich,
I vote yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Thank you, Barbara. On the waiver of Rule 24. Barb, would you take a roll call, starting with myself?
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Tom Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Barb, and on its adoption, starting with myself.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Tom Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Ordinance 16, 2021 passes with 6 yes votes. Next, we have Resolution 7, 2021. Barb, would you read the title, please?
Resolution number 7, 2021, sponsored by Mayor Matthew Rayberg, co-sponsored by Councilman Michael Nanadovich, Chuck Donahue, and Tom Vaughn. An emergency resolution placing a temporary moratorium on the approval of the construction of billboards within the city of Garfield Heights.
Barb, on the consideration I would like to make a motion to consider by title, Resolution 7, 2021. Barb, would you take a roll call, starting with myself?
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Thank you, Barb. On the suspension of the 3 reading rule, Barb, would you take a roll call, starting with myself?
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Tom Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
That would not require a 24. On its adoption, starting with myself, please.
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Thank you, Barb. Resolution 07, 2021 passes with 6 yes votes. Next is Resolution 08, 2021. Barb, would you read the title, please?
Resolution number 08, 2021, sponsored by Mayor Matthew Rayberg, co-sponsored by Councilman Michael Nanadovich, Chuck Donahue, Jason Blake, and Tom Vaughn. An emergency resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for the 2020 Assistance to Firefighter Grant through the Department of Homeland Security.
Thank you, Barb. On consideration by title, I make a motion to consider by title. Barb, would you take a roll, starting with myself?
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Barb, on the suspension of the 3 reading rule, starting with myself, Barbara?
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
Barb, on the waiver of Rule 24, starting with myself, Barb?
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Tom Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
And on its adoption, starting with myself, Barb?
Nanadovich,
Nanadovich votes yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Vic,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Tom Vaughn votes yes.
Dudley,
Yes.
Donahue.
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. That concludes resolutions and ordinances. And before we get into comments by citizens, we have some business to attend to as far as council body itself.
Yes.
And that is to elect a new council president pro tem. We can open the floor for nominations. We will take the nominations. It will require, seeing as now there are 6 of us only, it will require 4 votes to pass. And if I may, I would like to start off by nominating Mr. Vaughn. Barb, make a record of that. Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Councilman Dudley.
Barb, make a note that Councilman Dudley has also been nominated.
All right.
And
Yes.
the way the charter reads, no other council representatives are eligible because they're all on their first term. You have to have completed one first term to run for either council president or pro tem. So we will start the voting. Barb, if you would, I could do that. That's true too. Barb doesn't run the vote. I do. All those with Mr. Vaughn, first nominated. Barb, would you take a roll call? Indicating a yes or no.
Okay. Sorry. I'm just confused there for a minute. Okay. So we're voting.
We're voting. There's 2 nominations. One was Mr. Vaughn. One was Mr. Dudley.
All right.
We'll take the nominations. We're going to vote. If I may, I would let you take the roll call, starting with Mr. Dudley.
All right. Sorry, I got it. Dudley?
Michael, you're muted.
On mute, Mike.
You're on mute, Michael.
You don't think that we should seat the last member of council before we take this vote for Ward 6, that member should be seated first before this vote is taken, Mr. Chairman? Because it will be not for a total body of council, it's just 6 members here.
You're postponing this for another month.
No, I know that, but I would think that you wouldn't wait until you get the 7th member of council before taking the vote.
Okay, I'm going to refer to Mr. Riley on the legality of it and the need for a council pro tem as soon as possible, I believe. Mr. Riley, are you on board yet?
On the line. That would be up to council whether they want to vote now or vote at a later time.
Okay, what we'll do then is I will refer to the council body. I would like to make, Barb, I would like to make a motion to either to vote per council person, whether they want to wait for the 7th member or take the vote tonight. That would be up to the council person to indicate on the time they are called upon, starting with Mr. Dudley.
Very good. Dudley.
Wait, excuse me, point of order. Before you go forward, you have to be clear on what you're voting on.
Okay, I believe I did, Tim, but thank you for correcting me. What we're going to vote on tonight is whether we're going to wait until the council representative from Ward 6 is appointed, or we're going to vote tonight.
Well, you have to make it clear, a yes or no vote. Is it to wait or is it to vote tonight? So the motion has to be one or the other.
Okay, I understand what you're saying now. A yes vote would indicate that we vote tonight. A no vote means that we'll wait till the council person is appointed. Am I right on that, Tim, now?
It should be a simple motion to
Mr. Chairman
tonight, yes or no.
What was that, Tim?
It should be a simple motion to hold a vote tonight for the pro tem position. Yes or no. That's simple.
Okay.
It can't be yes or no either way. So it's got to be a simple motion.
Okay, thank you, Tim. I would like to make a motion as council president to vote on the pro tem tonight.
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Davis has her hand raised.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Mr. Chairman, I think we're in the middle. A motion is already on the floor. Don't we have to do something with that to put another motion on the floor?
Well, yes, I could rescind the motion, seeing as how I made it.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to rescind my initial motion on the appointment of the council pro tem and go to the second motion I made, where when you vote tonight, you will vote for the council president pro tem tonight. That motion is on the floor. Yes, we vote tonight. No, we don't. Am I right there, Tim?
No, it should be a motion to vote for the council pro tem tonight. Yes or no? That's the end of it.
Okay, now would that vote indicate that the council president will take the vote tonight and then we go to Tom or Mike?
No, you're asking council to vote on your motion. And I think your motion is, do you want to hold a vote tonight on the council pro tem?
That's what I was trying to indicate. Thank you. Okay. I would like to make a motion to vote on council pro tem tonight. Barb, would you take a roll call? Starting with Mr. Dudley.
Well, shouldn't I start with you? Because you made the motion?
Start with me then, Barb.
Mr. Riley?
Go ahead, Barb.
Nanadovich?
Nanadovich votes yes to vote tonight.
Davis?
No.
Blake?
Before I vote, I just would like, I vote no, and I think I'm saying we only have one more meeting before we would realistically select a member for Ward 6, and I don't think delaying the vote for roughly till the next till another council meeting is that impactful. So with that, I vote no.
Thank you.
Vaughn? Mr. Vaughn?
Tom?
I'm sorry. I said I vote no.
I could not hear you. Thank you. Dudley?
No.
Donahue?
Before I vote, I agree with Jason. He is that's exactly what I was going to say. We only have one more meeting. We can wait until we put in somebody in for Ward 6. So with that, I vote no.
Okay. That motion fails 1 yay to 5 nay. And this is the first time we've gone through this, so it's a little confusing, but thank you for your clarification, Mr. Riley. Thank you. Okay, that'll be postponed to the next meeting. Next is comments by citizens. Barb, would you read the title? Read the rules?
Yes. Comments shall be restricted to any problem a citizen has which has previously been submitted to his or her councilperson or to the City Hall Department directly involved. If submission of a problem to a City Hall Department or councilperson is made and there is a lack of service rendered in this regard, the problem may then be presented during comments from citizens at a future meeting. It is the intention of this rule that no request of a first nature is presented on the floor at this time. Comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. No citizen shall be heard more than once.
Thank you. Okay, bear with us. We're going to have to look at hands raised. But I believe Ms. Bolton had her. Yes.
Mr. Taglerini has his hand up right now.
Okay. Mr. Taglerini, the floor is yours. Unmute, Frank. Unmute. Frank, you're muted. There we go.
I'm sorry. My name is Frank Taglerini. I live at 1240 Darlington. I'd like to start out. I got two things, actually three. But the situation on Maple Row with the water, I just want to bring to everybody's attention, the water company does offer an insurance policy. I know this won't help the people that this just happened to, but me and my wife bought the policy, and it's only a couple dollars a month on your water bill. And it will cover the water line, your hot water tank, and it's something that I think every resident should look into, because a lot of our pipes were put in 60, 70 years ago, and they're all going to be going. You see people's yards being dug up at all times. And with that being said, my next issue is prior years, the city has put on a program, I believe, with helping the seniors with taxes. Is that going to be instituted today, or is that out of the question, or is that something that the seniors are going to be cut out of again? I don't know who to ask that to or what from. And third but last is the parking ban issue. It is getting out of control with the parked cars, and with the weather that we've been having. The snow plows make it impossible. I mean, the parked cars make it impossible to get around these vehicles parked overnight, and especially when there's a snow ban and get 2 to 3 or 4 inches of snow. I think that needs to be addressed, and I think each and every one of us needs to talk to whoever to get this handled. And with that, that's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, would you or Ms. Bureau like to answer the senior problem?
If I may, in regards to the seniors, our senior center, our building is closed. So I would like you, Frank, to get a hold of Kathy Rush Parsons in regards to that. I don't know if there are any kind of tax breaks for the seniors, but she would know that information. I don't know it off the top of my head. I will tell you in regards to the parking ban issue, I had a conversation again today with Deputy Chief Kay. They are ticketing vehicles. Now, if those vehicles are not complying, I think after a while they will be towed. But please remember that when they tow a vehicle, it comes at a cost to the city, and we have to try to recoup that cost. So they are taking a harder stand on these vehicles that are parking on the street, because it's hard for the snowplows to get around them too. And believe you me, I've only been week, but I've probably heard that from Mr. Sycon about 30 times last week about vehicles parked on the street. So,
thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, I know that on my street, there's many of them every night, same vehicles. I've got a wild truck that has been parked there since summer every night.
Well, that would be the building department. You can call; they would take care of that if it's parked in the driveway. So, I want to go to Miss Bolton next. I see she has her hand up. We stopped her talking before, so I see you there, Miss Gaynor. We'll get you next, but Renee, if you would, you have the floor.
Thank you. I have a couple of things now, and I'm not sure if you want me to just go through my list quickly, and then you can address each item, or if you want me to address one item at a time.
As long as you've discussed them with a council representative or someone on council prior to that, you're more than free to discuss what you want.
Okay. So the first thing I want to say is that regarding community members being able to speak about the agenda items, what the agenda specifically says is comments, communications from citizens on the agenda. And what that technically means is anything on the agenda up to that point. And I feel that just as an area of clarification, if you only want that section to be specifically about ordinances and resolutions, then perhaps the agenda should be adjusted to say comments from citizens on ordinances and resolutions, just so that we are all clear what we're allowed to talk about at each juncture on the agenda. Because I know I wasn't the only one tonight who spoke about something that, you didn't want us to talk about that at that time. You wanted us to wait for now, which is fine. I'm just saying for clarification purposes. So then the items that I wanted to discuss. The first thing was I really have an issue with addressing council on these calls and speaking about my home address. I don't think it's necessary. I've never had to give my address on any other kind of call. I mean, I just don't understand why I need to tell the whole world my address just to speak on a call. I live in Garfield Heights. You know, that should be good enough that I live in Garfield Heights. But that's one of the things that I wanted to address. The other thing I wanted to address is, it's a question actually. Why are so many of the resolutions put through as emergencies? My question regarding that is there no protocol for submitting resolutions so that they can be addressed and discussed in a timely manner as opposed to everything having to be done right now, which is what the emergency resolutions typically are. It has to be addressed right then. Additionally, I wanted to ask about the mayor's report. In his report, he mentioned that everyone is supposed to go through the mayor's office when they want to reach out or speak to a city employee. And I just want some clarification on that, because if that also includes council members going into or addressing the mayor prior to speaking to a city employee, it just feels more like an attempt to control the flow of information. And it also feels like city council members will be unable to do their jobs properly if they have to constantly go through the mayor's office in order to speak to any other city employee. I'm just trying to get some clarification on why that is being put in place. And then the final thing that I wanted to ask about is I did speak with Ms. Davis, Woman Davis, about this, but she's not my council person. However, we did discuss this.
That's fine.
Driveway, it runs alongside the same parking area as the little shopping plaza where Little Caesars is. My driveway is actually the exit for that shopping plaza, and no one adheres to that do not enter sign. So as we're trying to come out of our driveway, there are constantly cars coming in the exit of that parking lot there. And I want to know, who do I need to talk to get that to stop? And that was everything I had. Thank you.
Okay, your last issue, that would be addressed through the police. The police would have to sit there, and I'm just telling you the process. I'm not trying to sidestep it. This is the process that we use. You go through the police, and then I believe you would have to go through the law department. I'm not sure. Mr.
I
Marty,
have talked to the police.
Okay.
And
Mr.
short
Marty?
of them sitting in that shopping plaza, there's nothing they can do about it, because by the time they get here, whoever came through the wrong way is gone already.
I see your dilemma, yeah. I don't know. Mr. Riley, is there any kind of advice we can give her on that?
We have to see where the property's at, who owns it, where the property lines are and all that, and determine if it's actually something the city can do or if it's a civil matter. I mean, if they're using your property to come in and out, well, then it's a civil matter. They're trespassing on it. That would have to be something that we'd have to determine.
Okay.
And then I'd also like to address the other issue you brought up about why resolutions like resolution number 8 tonight, which is for a grant, are put up as emergency. Well, many times when we get notice of these things, you don't have a lot of time to prepare them, or it takes a while to prepare them. If you put them up for 3 readings, that means by the time you start filling out the application, get it before council, you have a month and a half of time to pass for 3 readings. Many of them are due way before that time, and if you miss the deadline and they don't get submitted, you don't get the grant money. So these are grants. Many of them, sometimes we don't even necessarily need to put before council, but we like everybody to know of what we're applying for and the money that we're trying to get. So that's the reason that many of them are emergency, just so you know, okay? Thank you.
And I believe we ran across that the last time with the grant that we would have lost because it was due the very next day. We waited long enough. As far as the addresses, pardon?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, I think what Ms. Bolton is talking about is the chain of command policy that I instituted today. Basically, that is not a policy to say that you have to go through the mayor's office. Actually, it's the other way around. In the past administration, employees would skip their director and go directly to the mayor. So I'll give you a perfect example of what happens. Mr. Sycon will have an employee who comes to him and wants a raise. He comes to the mayor. The mayor tells him to go see the finance director. The finance director says, we just don't have the money in the budget to do that. And he goes and tells the employee, we don't have the money in the budget. The employee goes directly to the mayor, and the mayor says, yeah, I'll take care of you, and gives him a raise. Now you've got a finance director and a service director who feel like they just got stepped over, by the mayor. And I've seen this time and time again in the administration over the last 3 months of these types of things that have happened. And I will tell you, in every single business throughout America, every Fortune 500, Fortune 50 company out there, there is what they call a chain of command policy. And basically it says, if you have a problem, if you have an issue, you're supposed to go to your director first. If you can't resolve that issue with your director, then you go to HR. If the HR person and the director and you cannot come to a resolution, that's when you would get the mayor involved. And that's all we're trying to do here with this chain of command policy, is just to establish a system where the actual employees of the administration of the city would go. It's the same thing with police officers. If they have an issue, they would go to the chief. Fire individuals have an issue, firefighters, they would go right to the fire chief. So it's just establishing that policy, because it has not happened in this city. And I was shocked there was not even a policy in place. I was just shocked. It helps us with our insurances. Obviously, as a director, you do not want to be in a one-on-one meeting with somebody, because you don't have any way of defending yourself if there is an issue and they claim that you were inappropriate or said the wrong things and so on and so forth. But so it's really there to protect the city from future lawsuits as well. And it's there to protect the directors and the employees so that everybody has a certain understanding of where they need to go. You take some of the HIPAA laws that are out there. If you have an employee that, let's say they had COVID, you know what? They're not supposed to share that information. HR is the only one that's supposed to know that. And so I just wanted to establish that type of a policy because it was not in effect. So it has nothing to do with whether or not you want to address council and you have to come through the mayor's office. That is not the intention of this. It's just a standard, what they call a chain of command policy, and it's instituted in almost every business throughout America, especially those that are successful. So I hope that clarifies that for you.
Thank you, Mayor. And on your last question, Ms. Bolton, about giving your address, we ask for your address to make sure that you're a resident of Garfield Heights. Saying I live in Garfield Heights, it's very misleading, because we did have two people when we were meeting in council chambers. Yeah, I live at this address. One of the councilmen and I went and found out where he lived. He lived in Maple Heights, the other one in Bedford. And they're making comments about what should be done in Garfield. That's the only reason we give you an address. They gave a fake address. But remember, if you give a fake address, you're on record. And if you say, well, it's the house next door to me, and you give us an address and you live in Maple Heights, it's gonna prove you wrong. That's the only reason we do it, because only Garfield Heights citizens can comment on what goes on in our city. I mean, you're not a reporter, you're not a press agent, so we have to ask you your address. That's the only reason we do it. So saying we live in Garfield, that's a little vague. So we have to.
One more thing, if I could interject, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bolton, if you would like to if you can give me a call tomorrow or something, I'd like to talk to you more about your driveway and exactly what's going on there, so I can have a better understanding of what's going on there. So I'd invite you to give me a call on that, and just we'll take a look at that. We'll talk to you a little bit more about that, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Bolton. Appreciate it. Next, I promised just Ms. Gaynor. She has the floor next. If you would unmute, please. Thank you. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay.
Your address, please.
Sure. My address is 4957 East 81st Street.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am glad to hear the mayor address economic development. I am a small business owner, and I have been running into quite a few obstacles just to understand the basic qualifications, requirements necessary to do business in the city of Garfield Heights. I've been in contact with the City of Economic, the Department of Economic Development to no avail. We've been emailing back and forth, also had a phone conversation, and that communication has gone on over a month. The website for economic development is also very unclear. It took me quite a bit of Google searching to find the accurate address, because the one that's listed as the main one on Google comes up with a 404 error. So I bring all of this up just to say I am just looking for basic information on what qualifications one would need in order to start a business in the city of Garfield.
Ms. Gaynor, that can be addressed through our building department. They would have the information for you on permits if you're starting a business, inspections, costs and fees, but that would all be done through our building department. And that's located in City Hall on the second floor. You can't go there right now, but a phone call to the building department could get you started on the right track. And then we could move into Ms. Kuban's area, because the building department would have to be checking on what you're going through. You could either start with Ms. Kuban, Noreen
That's
Kuban.
who I've been communicating with. And I forgot to mention, my business is actually transient, so I don't need a building. I don't need an actual physical space.
Okay, because there are some, I don't know what the business is, and that would be up to you to discuss with the building department. But right now, the building department, because some businesses you can't run in the city of Garfield Heights. But, you know, that's up to you and the building department. They would know what you can and can't do. I would not make a judgment because I don't know all the rules yet. But I would contact the building department if you've already talked with Ms. Kuban and go from there.
Sure. I've also contacted them, and I did want to make sure I attended this call today to make sure that I did bring it up to the mayor, because the response time has been very non-existent somewhere. Yes, thank you. Very slow. And so I just want to make sure, you know, because there are different things that I want to make sure that I have in order from a professionalism standpoint. And as being a resident and a homeowner and a taxpayer of the city, I just want to make sure that the service and the response time is up to par.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And if I may, I'd like to allude to the mayor.
Yeah, Mr.
Mayor
President, if I may, can you hear me out there?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Ms. Gaynor, I appreciate what you're saying there. If you would be so kind to give me a call tomorrow, 216-475-1100, extension 8. I would love to talk to you more about your business. I will say this about the website. We have been working hard on our website. I know it's not where it needs to be. We are working on it pretty much every day. There's something new that comes up with this website. It's literally frustrating. However, you know, we've gone past where we've had an IT person that was actually on medical leave. He's back. we're going to try to make this website a lot more user friendly. I feel this is something that has been lacking and it needs to get done. So if you would give me a call, I would definitely like to talk to you about your business, talk to you about how the city can help. I will tell you, I probably talk to 3 or 4 business owners every day in regards to coming to Garfield Heights. I certainly don't know what the nature of your business is, but being a transient business, you might want to also make sure that, or we might want to make sure too, that you're in compliance with what the state of Ohio and the federal requirements are.
Sure. Yes, I do have all of those permits. It's the city right now.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how it's spelled out, but if you give me a call, I would love to talk to you more about maybe what the city can do to help you as well. So,
okay, thank you so much.
Again, that number is 216-475-1100, extension number 8.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Gaynor, one more thing. You live on 81st Street. That's my ward. If you're running into any delays after this, please feel free to call me. You have a pencil handy?
I sure do.
Okay, 216-374-2249. My name's Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I see Miss Lake has her hand up. Miss Lake, unmute and the floor is yours. Start off with your name and address, please.
Jen Lake, 5303 East 133rd Street, Garfield Heights, Ohio.
Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
I have 2 things.
Have you spoken to anybody about them yet?
You know what? I have not. They just crossed my mind when I was hearing other comments. One was the address issue. I just wanted to state that I agree with Renee. And then 2, I had a question about the rule where Miss Barbara read about only being able, the citizens are only able to state their question, concern, whatever it might be, once, and then they're done. What does that, I mean, so we have no chance to, after the councilman speaks in regards to it, we have no chance to ask further questions or anything like that? I'm not quite understanding that.
Okay, well, first off, you have comments by citizens on the agenda, which is posted in different spots, and that's what we're going to be voting on during the night. And that would give you a chance to speak on any questions you have about what we're going to be voting on, if there's any questions about where's the money's coming from or things like that. You also get a second chance at the end of the meeting to address council as long as you have spoke to someone prior to this, and something like that you wouldn't be able to. I agree with you. But prior to this, and discuss it on the council floor, and like Ms. Bolton, she had 3 items to discuss. So you talk about them. There is a 5-minute rule, but we haven't been adhering to that because we want to hear from the citizens and it's transparency. I mean, we're not going to let you run for 15, 30 minutes. And the 5-minute rule, if you run 6 minutes, if you run 7 minutes, I have no problem with that.
Understandable.
But I mean, you get a second chance to speak at this time that you're speaking right now on your questions or your concerns. And the first one, like I said, is what's going on with the legislation. But you do get 2 chances to speak on the floor. One on the agenda, one on the information that you're giving to us right now.
And I did just hear the back and forth with Miss Giselle. So that, helped that clear that up a little bit. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your concern. Jason, do I have anybody else?
I am not seeing anybody.
Okay. If there are no other concerns from the citizens, I'll give you about 1 minute, maybe less than that to go. Jason's looking for hands.
No hands.
Okay, thank you, Jason. We will move on to comments.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, we got a phone down there. Yes, go ahead. State your name and address, please. Name and address,
My name is Barbie West. My name is Barbie West, and I live at 12617 Maple Row.
Okay.
And I am a resident of Garfield Heights. I wanted to speak on the water issue. Actually, I have a question. Also, guys, I would like to introduce myself. I will be running for council for Ward 1. So,
Michael.
therefore, I have I have a question. At what point, as the resident, do we know on the apron that if a water pipe bursts, it's our responsibility?
I can answer that.
Okay.
When the water department comes, if they turn off the water and the water flow stops, it's on the other side, the customer's side of the line. If they turn off the water and the water still runs, it's on the city of Cleveland side.
Got it. Got it.
Well,
I just had a simple question.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that would be my only question. I just kind of wanted to know, because I have been a resident here for so long, and I have been assisting the Premise family, helping them and, assisting as to whatever they may need. But I just had that question, wanting to know, because I never seen the water department actually dig up any concrete or anything like that. So I'm like, how do they know? So I'm glad you answered that question, and I really appreciate it.
No problem. Glad I could help you. Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? And I will give my host for the hands raised a second or two to check it out.
Not seeing anybody.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we'll move on to comments by council. We'll start off with the best, Mike Dudley.
All right, Mr. Chairman. Okay. Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Michael.
What I want to mention first is that we are going to be doing, it's about our 15th annual Garfield Heights Black History Program on February the 25th. This year it will be done via Zoom. The information will be coming out. We will place it in the local paper next Wednesday as well. It's going to be on February 25th at 6:30. You will receive the information, and we will post it via Facebook and all the other ways we usually do it. And also, like I said, make it local at the paper as well. And that will be at 6:30. And then you will actually know who the guest speaker and everybody will be. We will be raffling off a 40-inch TV this year. It will be raffled off. And the way we're going to raffle off, because people say, how are you going to do that? We're actually going to have raffle tickets at several locations. We will end up placing some at Munchies on 131st, as well as Open Pantry. And on Turney Road, we would like to place it at Weldon's PC. And you will be able to go in there with the people permission. I don't think it'll be an issue. And you will fill out a ticket. So the catch-22 going to be, so nobody sit up there and don't watch the show and think you're going to get the television, is this. Just prior to the show ending, and you don't know what time it's going to end, we're going to actually give you a password, a simple one word. When we call you from the show while it's happening, and we just ask you with that password, if you don't know it, we're going to the next person. If you don't pick up, we're going to the next person. So we're hoping that you view it. It's going to be a very nice show this year, and we're looking forward to your participation. And as usual, we're looking forward to the mayor and the members council, our support. They've always been supportive for us, a program, and we do appreciate that, as well as members of the community. So definitely you're going to enjoy this one. It's going to be a nice one. And we're going to focus, if people don't familiar you, is Inez Killingsworth. She's that young lady, actually, she passed recently. And she was, I would say she was a real good person. She was a great person. She actually started ESOP, Empowering and Strengthening Ohio People, in her basement back somewhere back in the 70s sometime. It was a long time ago, in the 70s or 80s, I believe it was. And she started up until the 90s, around the 90s. She started up in her basement, and it grew to be a powerful organization. This lady wore maybe about 80, 70 pounds soaking wet. But when you have the CEO of Society Bank and you got Jamie Dimon's personal cell phone number, it showed you the power that this older Black woman had. And if you remember the mortgage crisis, especially back in the late 2000s when they hit heavily, ESOP was an organization, along with some other ones, that saved a lot of houses, saved a lot of homes for people. But that definitely had to hear her story. So she will be somebody that we're going to be honoring at the program this year. And also, I'd like to mention one thing too. Next week, we had the information down packed. We're going to be doing, and I just want to make sure I have it all correct at my last conversation tomorrow. We will be doing approximately 5,000 COVID-19 self-test kits where you would just drive up and you will actually be able to take the test. And up there around St. Tim with Father Davis, we're in conversations with them. You'll drive through, you'll do your self-test, you'll return it to the people there, which is going to be covered pretty good. And they will actually return the information within 24, no later than 48 hours. The test is going to be free and is open to members of Garfield Heights only. Members of Garfield Heights only. So no matter where you live, you can be able to come over there. If you got insurance, you bring your insurance card. If you don't have no insurance, we still want you to come. Mayor, you should have returned my call and left you a message. Some of the other ones I got the word and I was trying to reach everybody today. But that's a great thing because people that talked to me before and they just say they can't pay for the test. They want to know about the test. But this is open to the general public for everybody. They will be starting 8 to 7:30 p.m. the 15th through the 18th. And I'm going to be getting with the city because we got another location. We will be able to possibly bring in an additional 5,000 tests somewhere to set up off Turney Road. And that would be for Garfield Heights residents and only. And there's no cost to the residents, mayor, and members of council. And I will make sure that the information get out. And I just want to thank the company, but I will give the information out tomorrow as well. But they are actually a California company, but also works locally. And I would like to thank Pastor Ralph Faulkner. He's actually a local pastor. He's the one that met with Mayor Clover before you came in, Mayor. You're part of that team that met with the mayor with us and also met with Chief K. But I think this is great for us and it will help our residents out a lot. And it's going to be for everybody. It makes no difference which ward you live in, Mayor, members of council. And I wasn't able to reach everybody today, but it's a blessing in disguise. And in some way we could work something out with the school with them having the permission of the parents because the kids, we can't give it to the children. As leaders, we know we can't. It'd be up to the school system to provide information as parental consent that when we move on the Turney Road side, that some of the children who wish to have the kids tested, they can. But it's going to be free, Mayor. It's going to be free, council members. And I will provide you all the full information tomorrow for anybody who didn't receive it today. And with that, I just tell everybody cover up and stay safe. You know, that's one of the silent killers. And I believe the mayor and myself have had it. And I believe it was Councilman Jason, also Blake, who has had it. And it's painful and it's dangerous. So, hey, remember to mask up. Can't make it mandatory, but mask up, people. Keep your hands clean. Keep them sanitized. And let's stay safe out there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good, Mr. Dudley. Thank you very much. Mayor, did you have something you wanted to say? Looked like you wanted to pull your mask on and say something to Mike.
Well, I was actually going to write him a note, but I just wanted to let him know, my friend, I've been inundated with things, but there is something I sent you tonight, and I just want to make sure you get the email.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had texted to you early, but I know you was probably busy. I had texted you and say, make sure you call me before council meeting.
But yeah, I'll get in touch with you tomorrow. I mean,
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Donahue, you have the floor.
Just a few things. COVID vaccination is out there. Don't be afraid of it. We can't talk about it though. I was told that earlier. But don't be afraid of it. Valentine's Day is coming up. Make sure you get your reservations in early because they're going to be crowded. Also, Valentine's Day is Tom Vaughn's birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
He's getting older and older all the time. It's terrible. He can almost collect Social Security. One more thing. Just everybody, please stay safe. And with that, have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Donahue. And I guess I'll go next. Just to let everybody know, tomorrow night we're having a legislative meeting to discuss the questions that we're going to be asking the candidates for the council seat in Ward 6. That will start at 6:30. It will be Zoom. If it does get too personal with the questions, it won't tomorrow night because we're not going to be interviewing anybody. But when we do get to the interviews on the 17th and possibly the 19th, we have to go into executive session because we are discussing employees. We can't do that publicly, and the questions they ask, it should be more confidential so that, and it was brought to my attention by Councilwoman Davis and Mr. Dudley, Councilman Dudley, that if we answer them all at one time, they're going to be, the next person in the line has a preview. So we want to keep that so they don't sit there and think about a good answer. It's going to be spontaneous, and that's what we're looking for. But we will go into an executive session as needed. Secondly, we did, just for council members, we did receive our ethics forms. Make sure you file those because it's very crucial to your campaigns and your office when you get those. And Mayor, I want to thank you for that policy that you put into effect, the chain of command, your immediate supervisor, your director, and then the mayor as it goes along. I think we had that in place, but a lot of people didn't pay attention to it. Now that it's a rule, I think we ought to adhere to it, and I think it's going to work out great because we had it before, but it wasn't adhered to, and I think you'll be a person that's going to make them adhere to it, and I appreciate that. And I would like to apologize. I've done this before. I've done this several times when Mr. Mayor Burke has not been on the floor because he had emergencies or something. Tonight, I was just super nervous for some reason. I mean, I'm sitting here, maybe it's the Gatorade I was drinking, I don't know. But I want to apologize. I made a few mistakes. They will not happen again. I had voting on title before the title was read, and Barb at least caught it. And Tim, you enlightened me about a few things that I can't do. I made the wrong motion. I knew better, but I made a mistake, and I'll be the first to admit it. But for some reason tonight, I'm sitting here and I don't have any fingernails left. I've been biting them. But thank you for your help in stepping in and being so patient with me. And also to the citizens for being so patient. Jason, thank you for keeping track of the hands raised. I really appreciate that. And I want to wish everybody a very happy St. Valentine's Day. And do your social distancing if you're going out. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. This is a nasty bug. And the second strain I'm reading tonight is even going to be worse. And I'd like for you to keep in your prayers all these people in India that are trapped. Hundreds of people are trapped in tunnels below ground from a glacier collapse, and it flooded the river, and they're digging people out. So far, 18 have died. And there's hundreds of people trapped in these tunnels underground under a hydroelectric dam. So please keep them in your prayers because they got to be going through nightmares if they're still alive. And with that, I will move on to
Councilman Nanavich, real quick.
Yes.
The meeting that you mentioned, what is the date on it? Is that the 16th or the 9th?
The 16th meeting is tomorrow, the one we're having tomorrow to discuss the questions and what we're going to be asking. That'll be very brief. We'll go over it. And all the council people have their questions, I'm assuming, what they would like to ask the new candidates. And we'll go with that. We have a format from Councilwoman Davis, but I mean, there are other questions that we want to ask because some of us, like Mike Dudley, Councilman Dudley, has been through this before, and he knows some of the questions to ask because he went through with Councilman in Ward 7, not Tom Vaughn, but Mr. Avila. And we'll go from there. And then on the 17th, that'll be our first interview night, as I have indicated in the email. It'll be at 6:30. We will be calling in a few of the candidates. So far, I believe we only had 5, and that I know of. And if you could, when you come to the meeting tomorrow night, bring any correspondence you have from the candidates or anybody that's talking, recommending them. Because I had one woman that spoke about one of the candidates, and I'm going to bring her comments to the meeting tomorrow night too. So, I mean, any information we can get to make a good decision I'm all for it. And that's where we're going. And then if we need it, the 19th will be our last meeting. We'll make the selection and make the announcement, and then we'll install it. And then we'll go through the next council meeting. I got you, Chuck. Hold on, Chuck. I got you.
Yeah. Sheila was there first.
Yeah, but I just want to go through that. Okay, thank you. That's my answer to your question. Ms. Davis, Councilwoman Davis, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear. Tomorrow night is the 9th, and so the 16th is next Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we won't be meeting until the next week, I think.
That's what I was kind of getting at. I just would.
Thank you.
I'm a week ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I apologize. I definitely do. My mind's on something else coming up this weekend. So, but I thank you very much for both of you pointing it out. And I guess I don't have a meeting tomorrow night. So, okay, Ms. Davis, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to respond back to Mr. Taglerini. He had mentioned something about assistance for seniors for taxes. I'd actually spoken to Kathy Rush Parsons last week because I got a call from a resident. And so it's my understanding that they can't come in person, but someone can call the senior center. A senior can call them. They can drop their tax information off. And then whatever agency that they're working with, which I think it's AARP and some other organization, they're going to take that tax information completed. And then once it's complete, the citizen will come back to the senior center and pick up those documents. So they won't be doing anything in person, but tax completion is being still handled through our city, through the senior department. But you can call her for more details, or she did send me an email over about it. I could forward you that email if you would like. It's up to you. If you want to reach out to her, or I can send you the information, just let me know. Also, to that point, while I was talking to Kathy Rush Parsons, it was originally because one of my residents reached out to me about having the vaccine done. I'm finding out that a lot of seniors are having issues with signing up because the sign up is online. And we know that there's a digital divide with our seniors being able to properly use technology. So the Western Reserve Area of Aging, they are doing the applications over the phone for residents. The problem with that is that the residents are getting a confirmation via email. So they kind of need a family member or friend, or perhaps someone at the city in our service department that can help them. The senior center is, I'm sorry, not the service department, the senior services department. They are also giving rides to any senior who needs that vaccination testing. They're doing those testings at Drug Mart in Maple Heights, also Giant Eagle here in Garfield Heights, and Mark's in Garfield Heights. So if anyone has a resident call about that, that's some information that they can share with them. Or again, you can follow up with the senior center. We talked about the flooding or the leak that's happening in Mr. Dudley's ward. I'm not sure if anyone has reached out to Community Housing Solutions or CEOGC. They do have assistance for seniors, area of Western Reserve. They may have some services and some money allotted to assist with those things too. If you want that information from me, let me know, reach out to me, and I will share the contact that I have at CEOGC. They do have funding, and I'm certain with an issue like that, especially with the weather being the way that it is, that they would be willing to assist in that area. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I'm just asking that everyone stay warm, because I believe the next 8 days are going to be extremely cold, and stay safe and COVID-free if possible. Have a good night, and God bless everyone. Thank you.
I was coughing, and I know it comes out loud. We'll move on to Mr. Blake. Thank you, Councilwoman Davis.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple quick things. I'm happy to say that on Monday, May 31st, 2021, it is Memorial Day, and the city of Garfield Heights will be holding a Memorial Day parade. We are looking to live stream the event and the program afterward if people are not interested in coming. Our first planning meeting is Sunday, February 21st at 2 p.m. via Zoom. Jennifer Narones is the committee chairperson. Her phone number is 216-624-8802. You can contact me at 216-338-7883, or you can email me at jblake@garfieldheights.org. And when I create the meeting link for the planning committee, I will send it to you if you contact me. We are looking for volunteers. We do realize that we have a lot of work to do in a small amount of time. We are looking, again, at some different options. We are looking most likely more of just a motorcade type parade, where people won't be bunched up together and things like that. Again, we have a lot of work to do, and we're throwing different ideas around, but I would like to invite anybody who's interested in participating to please do so. This Wednesday, I'll be holding a community awareness meeting via Zoom. Our speaker is going to be Barb Byro. If you have any questions regarding finances, you can send them to me, again, at my city email, jblake@garfieldheights.org. The meeting is at 6:30. I can send you the link if you are interested in it. The Ward 5 newsletter that I had talked about is delivered to the post office. I'm looking, that should be going out in the next couple days. So please be on the lookout for that. And I would like to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day this weekend, and please enjoy the time, with your significant others. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blake, Councilman Blake. Councilman Blake, is that going to be on the Zoom? On the same Zoom as the city?
No, I have a separate account just for my personal use. I will send that out.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, and I guess we got the best for last, Mr. Vaughn.
All right, thank you, sir. I want to talk about the improvements that have been made to the website. We've been fighting this battle for the past 2 years, and I want to thank Mayor Burke, his administration, for moving forward with some of this past week. You can now, if you go underneath the council section of the website page, you can bring up ordinances, you can bring up agendas, everything that people have been asking for. It's very easy to use. It's user-friendly. I know it's only the beginning, but I think in a few more months, we'll see a lot more improvements there, and it really was beneficial to all. It's going to help answer a lot more questions, and I want to thank Mayor Burke for bringing that out.
Thank you, Tom.
Getting that done. Folks, we've all talked about the cold weather. Please be careful when you're out there, especially those with chronic heart and lung problems. Be careful when you're out there. It can be devastating. But also, let's bring in the animals. Dick Goddard always said, when it got cold, bring those animals in. And we need to do that too. And the other thing is, they're talking some snow, folks. So remember, this snow ban goes into effect after 2 inches. So let's get those cars off the streets. That way, it's a lot easier for everybody to plow the snow, get things taken care of, and it works out best for everybody. Everybody, have an enjoyable Valentine's Day. Be safe, keep social distancing. And that's all I have. And at this time, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Yes. Okay, on the motion by Councilman Vaughn to adjourn, do I have a second?
A second.
Everybody. I like that.
I like that too. Starting with Mr. Vaughn, Barb, would you take the roll?